Hi, welcome to Just Breathe. We're talking about loving kindness today, and I want to bring that into our practice. It's snowing outside. I couldn't be happier. It's not enough that it's gonna stick, and honestly, it's kind of gray and really rather uninspiring. But it's the perfect invitation for me. Yes! I see it! Oh, now I'm just a wee bit jealous. And so it's the yuck. And I say that not because snow is yuck. I actually would love to have more snow. But it's kind of the gray and the heavy and the bitter cold that drives us into our introspection, into our deeper knowing. So that's where I want to begin for our Just Breathe practice. So find a comfortable sit, recline shape. Let the body grow heavy. And maybe you want to layer on, whether it's a blanket for comfort, imaginary or tangible, or maybe even some sandbags or pillows, or a pet can sit on your lap or your chest or wherever it is that they can get purchase. And welcome this breath. Welcome this breath as the gift that it is. The gift that is provided by the universe and accepted by your uniqueness, your individual existence. Feel this breath as the gift that it is. This is why the only rule at Life's Work Yoga is that you breathe. And when we can cultivate space and time and permission to just breathe, it's really quite amazing how much of the rest of our life falls into place. This recalibration of our primary action of breathing is in fact the practice of loving kindness. This poem is entitled Rock Gardens, and it comes from Lisa Lowitz. There are those who believe life is like a recalcitrant garden. No matter how many times you pull the weeds, they'll grow right back. No provocation, no fertilizer, barely any sunshine, not even much water. They think that, like the poison oleander, the more you abuse yourself, the stronger you grow. I'm not a believer. Drench your neighbor in compassion. Give them a Japanese rock garden any day. They don't care to be cultivated by abrasion. Don't want to blossom under duress. They need only to be tended to gently, contemplated in serenity by moonlight, raked over gently, revered. There was a time not so long ago that my MO was all about abusing myself, overcommitting, resting, assuming that if I didn't do it all, I might as well not even exist. There are moments that falsehood creeps back into the moment, the lie, the myth, and I wrestle with it. But fortunately, more time in each day is spent in this tended to gently, raked over gently, and revered. And I am convinced that it's the discipline of pranayama, or pranayam, the discipline of intentionally breathing, that has facilitated this shift for me. So having heard these words, whether they just floated in and out one ear, or into your heart, or into your deeper knowing, notice what it's like to use this breath as that gentle caress of your inner story, your inner Atman, or Buddhi nature. Take in what you need. Let go of what no longer serves. As the breath steadies, see if it can, in fact, deepen, broaden in the chest, in the ribs, deepen from the diaphragm to the pelvic floor. Can your breath truly be a practice of metta, of loving kindness? Loving kindness is simply the intention of living from a place of compassion and extending that compassion to all, to the world. But the metta practice, the loving kindness practice in outward service, begins with the loving kindness to ourselves, the nurturing of our inner spirit through self-love. And maybe self-love is a little bit of a stretch for your imagination. And so the precursor to self-love is self-care. So if you can embrace this breath as a practice of compassion and metta, excellent. If that still feels a little far-fetched for your understanding or your depth of intimacy, can it be a practice of self-love or a practice of self-care? But perhaps self-care is still a bit a ways away for you. Well, the precursor to self-care is cultivating an alignment with who you be and who you're becoming, who you've been and who you are, your body, your mind, and your breath. How do we cultivate alignment, you might ask? Well, by getting clear about what matters most and about what is. This is where we establish that connection with our Buddhi nature, or our Atman center. Or in modern terminology, really what we're talking about is what matters most, your values. Getting clear on our values requires a direction of our attention. It requires introspection, looking in, with the attention, with the energy of seeing what is here, of sorting out, as they say, the wheat from the chaff, meaning the expectations, those values that were perhaps laid upon us, or assumptions, or even beliefs, and those that we've come to cultivate for ourselves. And at the root of this is the practice of mindfulness. Now, Patanjali teaches that the breath is the gateway into both the body and the mind. But meditation goes beyond even mindfulness, and is where mindfulness falls away and we can just be. But the breath teaches us that too, because you see, the breath continues to move from our autonomic nervous system, but it responds to our attention. And we can train the breath to make it more supple, to make it more strong and vigorous, to help it settle and to soothe us. No matter what's going on in the world, whether it's a gray, cold day, or a sunny day of snow, or maybe sunshine and the beach is your ideal. Feel this breath and notice what layer, perhaps, your breath is practicing this metta, loving kindness. Compassion, self-love, self-care. Is it a relationship with your attention inward, introspection, to sort out, to sift through, to clarify your core values? And all of this thinking might be moving us to the place of just being. As the Kripalu yoga tradition, the brifwa, breathe, relax, and feel. This too is metta. It's just a guided path to help us stay the course so we can get to witnessing and allowing. Compassion, self-love, self-care, introspection, alignment with our core values by paying attention. Bring the hands to lay on the heart. And send that loving kindness to your inner child, your inner spark of the divine, the Atman, the Buddhi. And then turn your hands outward and send that loving kindness, if you can, to the world. With the palms open and the heart receiving, what do you take in? What will you allow back in to serve you? This breath? Can you receive the love, the hope, the joy of being alive? Hands come to rest together. May you breathe deeply. May you move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. May you be well. Namaste.